Now, this might sound a little weird to people, and it might not, depending on who you are as a person. People look at time and they look at their place in history and when they've done something. It is very hard for people who have accomplished something to see it all go down and then see them have to build themselves back up. And when you see that and you feel that divide, you feel that absence, you feel that disdain and distance, you start to really gauge the true divine situation at hand. And when you get to that point, you say to yourself, all right, this is it. I have to address this for what it is right now. I can't prepare for later. This is my later. This is my right now. This is my circumstance. So if I'm not able to do the said thing that needs to be done, I've failed tremendously. So I look at Irv Gotti scenarios. I look at his awareness, his alertness when he was on Drink Champs the very first time with Ja Rule. He was already a person who was dealing with his diabetic condition. So he was losing weight and dieting and getting himself under control. But he was back drinking and doing all of the things that would spiral him into a situation where it's going to get out of control. I don't know if Drink Champs knew, but they were enabling Irv Gotti because it was good for them. You know, he felt alive. He's back. He's got his guys back. You know, it's Drink Champs with Nori. You know, they got all these drinks. They're smoking weed. This is it. They feel all the magic and the energy in the room. Now, all of these people, man, this guy's got watches by Ashante. He's bringing out all of this pain and that he went through the entire time. He never really kind of got over the situation with Ashanti. And he took a lot of backlash from this because he was like, man, he was so drunk. And why did you guys do that to him? You know, he was out of his mind. He was saying things he shouldn't have said. He was out of pocket. Ja Rule tried to save him, but it was great for the Drink Champs. One of their biggest interviews. Get millions of views. All these shorts was created behind it. So naturally, this show was something that they wanted to run back and do another one, like a year after that. So, and what happened within that year is that Irv Gotti was, since he had did that Drink Champs interview, other people started to come to him and said, "Hey, let's come cut a deal." So a lot of corporate people who are investors and they have income funds. They're the prime fixed income leaders. You know, they'll buy your catalog. They're investment management firm. They're worth trillions of dollars. You know, these people are mutual fund exports. They have portfolios that are insane. Now, you have a multi-international insurance company for financial services called Alanis, which is another billion-dollar company. And that company is attached to PIMCO. Pimco, after they got all this insurance on Irv Gotti, they got him to negotiate selling over the rights to all of his work. Now, when you start saying, wow, what they gonna do? He's selling his work. Yes. They said, well, what we need you to do is make up with Irv Gotti. Make sure we put Irv where he's supposed to be. Make up with Leor Cohen. And then you can get put where you're supposed to be. But you and Leor got to make up. And he's like, I don't have a problem with Leor. He was like, still, I think y'all should just have a conversation because Leor likes you and y'all haven't spoke in a while since, it's been a little minute. But he's like, Leor's my guy. I don't have a problem with Leor. See, they were mistaking Irv Gotti for Dame Dash to show you how much they don't know hip hop that much. They were mistaking Irv Gotti for Dame Dash. And Irv is thinking, I haven't talked to my mans in a while, but we should be good. So when he talked to Irv, it was no problem. Because they never had a problem. Then he realized his mistake. The guy from Alanis. And seeing this Drink Champ interview made that company want to invest in Irv Gotti. They offered him a deal he could not refuse. They said, listen, I know about you. I heard about you. I know how you move. I know how you operate. I want to invest with you. I want to do business with you. Let's go into business. So now he's with Pimco. He's with the Alanis. They said, look, we want to buy all your intellectual property, your licensing rights, everything. Your whole catalog. And we'll give you $100 million for everything. So once that happened, Dane was on. Not Dane, Irv was on because they went from thinking he was Dame Dash to saying, man, we want to work with this dude, man. Let's help him out. But meanwhile, he's got young girls. He's running around with them, 20-year-olds. He's back in the club life, trying to do his personification of everything he believed in. And now he's in a different space. Just 360 days later, after all the drinking, the partying, all of it, he had the health issue. He had to go in the hospital, had the stroke, had to relax. Now he's in a whole different space. He knows my family's taken care of, and I'm finna get a $200 million loan to do some other projects. I got some ideas that I want to do. So they get all these ideas out of Irv. He was like, man, I want to do a black channel called Culture TV, but we have our own news. We have our own, it's just a 24-hour station. I want Redman to be doing a judge show, like, yeah, with your stinking ass. So the network is taking all of these ideas. These people from Pimco and Alana, they have insurance policy out on Irv's life. So here's a person who's a diabetic, type 2 diabetic. You got all this stuff out on his life, and all of a sudden, you're offering all of these things to him out of the blue. And he's just like, man, this is God's work. I'm getting all these hundreds of millions and 200 millions, and man, my family gonna be straight. Your family is, I hope they're gonna be straight. I hope they're gonna be straight. Because as he got older and he got sicker, he started to spend his time mostly with his family, but he didn't do the things he needed to do to keep himself, healthy. Even when he was given his, situation that he had to cut out certain foods, X, Y, and Z. Now, when you start seeing scenarios that go in different avenues of space, time, and energy, people who don't talk the language don't usually get to a certain position unless you have something of value. Irv Gotti's catalog is worth over $1 billion. That's right. You heard me. It's worth over $1 billion. He didn't know that. No one was going to tell him either. You see, PIMCO only invests in a winning thing. They don't take losses. So they're not going to do anything that's not going to insurably get them their money back. So that's why they wanted them to work out with Irv and Leor. Said, y'all work out a deal. That way with you two, we're going to get the money kicked back to us anyway that we're loaning you to do the projects that you want to do. Plus, we bought all of your catalog for $100 million. So we're all good. They know that's nothing. Now they have Irv Gotti's percentages. They have everything. And they don't owe his family nothing. I mean, he sold the publishing. He sold everything over to them for $100 million. And a loan of being able to get $200 million. He was dead within months. He lived only a few months after that. So basically his last 365 days of just having peace and going out with the family to eat dinner and do all these things, yeah. And he tried to get everybody else involved. Ja Rule got 50 million, I think, for his catalog and all his publishing and everything. And because they don't understand how it works, they was like, look, I got bills, I got things I got to do. And he had people to pay off. So these companies come out to acquire all your rights to everything that you own. So, it's neither here nor there. I'm not here to cry over spilt milk or do anything like that. I'm just pointing out the factors. And Drink Champs played a role, and I felt in enabling Irv Gotti. This is one reservations I had about having a show that encourages drinking and smoking and all of that. You look at all the smoke. You know, how they smoking weed. They used to be smoking weed on the show all the time. All the smoke and all of that, right? And all of a sudden, now there's no more smoke on the show. It's like a clean cut show. There ain't all this weed and all this craziness going on. You actually have real relationships now. So everybody's trying to do their thing in total line. So, it is what it is. We're gonna all see when it's all said and done, when the smoke clears, where everybody's gonna stand. But for Irv, sometimes big money is not the best money. Take something small and see what you can invest it to make it make sense for you down the road. You know what I mean? So other than that, yeah, that's about it, man. So I'm good. Love, peace, and hair grease.